Will mankind be devoured by white tuxedos? Find out in my review of Kill La Kill, Episode 19. Rago Kiryuin's invasion of Honnouji Academy has been something of a massive success. After last week's bombshell of a revelation, we found out that Satsuki and Ryuko are actually siblings. They are sisters, and the situation was made worse when Rago decided, hell, I'm just gonna rip Ryuko's heart right out in front of her face. But the scene is followed up this week when Ryuko makes a hasty retreat by cutting off Rago's hand and having the heart suck right back up into her body, and Senketsu decides to drag her away, but that's not before a lot of the students and people of Honnouji Academy are devoured by the covers and tuxedos, and even Mako is captured, and Gamagori freaks the hell out. And it's pretty evident that Gamagori has something of a thing for Mako, and there's a lot of evidence hinting to that in some of the earlier episodes of the series. But for the most part, this was an episode that was very strange because after the intro, we get to see that a lot of time has passed and that the covers have been systematically hunting down humans and devouring them to power themselves up and be basically Rago's personal army. And all of the people of Honnouji Academy have joined up with Nudist Beach, and Satsuki has been captured by Rago, and we will get to that in a second. But all of Nudist Beach has joined up with the Elite Four, and this means everybody gets another new uniform, and if you ever wanted to see Jakazori in something a little more revealing, this might be the episode for you. And there's a lot of ridiculous Nudist Beach hijinks. We even got to see that they still have Ryuko, who is in something of sort of a story-related sleep coma, but she'll return towards the end. But what's really cool here is that Nudist Beach and Elite Four, they've all sort of teamed up, and this is great because everything has sort of come full circle for them. It's now the humans against the clothing, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen there. And all of their weapons have even been exhausted. All their Goku uniforms are gone. The last one they had was Sanagiyama's, which actually got destroyed in this episode. And it just shows how powerful, like, these normal, like, cover suits are. You really don't want to mess with just even one of them. They're very dangerous. But the scene that this week I think is going to define why Rago Kiryuin is one of the most vile, despicable, and ridiculous villains in anime history is the way that she is humiliating and torturing Satsuki, who has been not only tied up and chained naked, but is just being constantly spanked in the ass by Rago. And at first it's very disturbing. But when she starts to do it repeatedly, I'm not gonna lie, I kinda chuckled a bit. But at the same time, it's a very uncomfortable chuckle. This is just reinforcing how disgusting this fucking woman is. And it's gonna feel really good when Satsuki is able to escape from this place and fuck her up. In fact, it looks like she's already gonna be getting there towards the end of the episode. There's a post-credit scene. Check it out. It'll give you a hint to how Satsuki is actually going to possibly escape. But the scene this week that's probably going to define it for everyone is at the very end of the episode when all of the covers start to attack Nudist Beach, and they have this ability where they create these like harps out of their clothing, and they start like fucking with everybody's hearing, and this causes Ryuko to get pissed off, and she immediately runs out with her scissor blade and begins to cut up all of the suits. After the scene, Senketsu comes out to sort of console Ryuko a little bit and calm her down. But Ryuko's going to have none of it. In fact, she decides to cut ties with Senketsu completely and doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. And she looks pissed off. And that's really where the episode comes to a close. But there were a lot of other little details that made this episode good. There is one massive revelation which I haven't gotten to yet. And it's a pretty strange one. But apparently, Soichiro Kiryuin, or Soichiro Matoi, whoever the hell he is, apparently, he actually is Dr. Matoi, Ryuko's adoptive father. He changed his appearance after, like, this weird car accident, and he literally broke his own back. You can see him, like, destroying his body and changing it into the way he looked. And I guess that's how they were able to do this twist, because I just never thought that they would be related, and that's only because Dr. Matoi looked so drastically different from Soichiro, and not a lot of time has passed to make him look that old. But, believe it or not, that's him. And you know what? It all makes sense. The dude's a big friggin' pervert, and he's been doing all this shit. It just sort of falls into place when you see all the other little scenes earlier. But it's an interesting revelation. And, you know, a lot of people were saying that, like, oh, I knew that Satsuki and Ryuko were going to be sisters and everything. But personally, I myself, I didn't really see it. I was looking more at all of the crazy action scenes and all that other stuff. I really wasn't paying attention to that other stuff too much. Maybe there were some subtle hints to them being siblings earlier on in the series. I have been sort of slowly rewatching the episodes with some of my other friends, and I have been picking up on a lot of extra things that I never saw before. But otherwise, this was another interesting episode. It may not have been like the action fest that we were wanting, but we've had a lot of those guys. So it's good to have a little bit of downtime, and I thought it was really interesting, the whole Nudist Beach organization having to work with the Honnouji Academy, and the fact that all of their weapons, which they've been using for the bulk of the series, are now all gone. So I can't wait to see how they're actually going to combat against the weird Goku uniforms. They show that they have this one weapon, which is like this big like suction gun that Gamagori actually uses to save Mako. Yes, she does get saved in this episode, and there is a funny scene where she's completely naked in front of Gamagori. You'll check it out yourself. It's really good. But otherwise, this was another great episode that had a lot of really funny moments, some pretty cool action, a lot of creepiness from Rago Kiryuin, the hope that Satsuki is going to escape. So many developments, so many little things, and I never thought I would say this, but those tuxedo things are actually pretty creepy the way they're just sort of floating around and harvesting people. So check out this episode. It's pretty damn awesome. You shouldn't be disappointed, and I can't wait to see what the last couple episodes of Kill La Kill are going to deliver. I'm sure it's going to be explosive and monumental. So if you guys had a chance to check out this week's episode of Kill La Kill, it's time to let me know what you thought about it with your comments below. You can tell me about your favorite moments, favorite revelations, and what you hope to see from the future of the series. Remember guys, before you leave, hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. It's definitely one of the easiest ways to support our videos. And you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So, I'll see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000, out.